Hi there, my name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. I would like to invite you and your family to join us on February 22nd as we host our second 22-hour podcast, learning how to create the conversations and listen to our heroes battling the invisible war. We're also asking your company to join us as a sponsor, as a participant, and make your sales count. We will be raising money for organizations all over the country that help our veterans through this terrible, terrible problem. If you need help, just please visit communitypayitforward.us or give me a call at 970-909-0751.
Show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.
We're looking at Wednesday, the 25th of January, which means one thing. We are less than a month away from Community Mission to Rescue 22. Hey, everybody, it's Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. How you doing today? As you can see by my background, we are doing so much better than we did last year. Not to say that we did bad last year, but we did bad last year. And now I've got a dog coming up to me. Jeez, man. Dogs. Weef. But we got a lot of new faces that have come to join us. And I think it's, it's fantastic because not only have a lot of these faces come to join us, but they've also come to join the program as well. So that is really, really important because that means that they're not only going to be with us today and on the 22nd raising money for this wonderful cause for all of those individual organizations below the logo there, but they're going to be with us from now on. We're going to be talking to a couple of these organizations tonight, and you're going to get to learn to know them. And again, I cannot be any more thrilled that to have them with us. Now, we're still looking for people to come and join us because we want to blow this thing out of the water. Look, I have a number in sight, and I'm hoping that you find this number acceptable because I really want to see this number go to $10,000. I want to reach $10,000 towards each. I want to give at least $1,000 to each and every one of our wonderful mission partners who are joining us. I also want to say hello to our friends at GI Josie, one of the brand new. We'd never even heard of them prior to the other day, and they were introduced to us. And I called out to her, and it was instantaneous, just excitement on my part, because they're dealing with something that we don't hear a lot about, because we do understand that the military is predominantly male. Well, GI Josie deals with females who are going through PTSD and have different issues with that they have to, unique um, uh, issues. Let's we're going to call it as is, everything from everything they see that a man has to see, plus they have to deal with the sexual aspect and harassment, exploitation, everything else that they deal with. You got GI Josie there that is helping them to cope and get back to a time of normalcy. So we want to welcome GI Josie to the event, and we definitely want to take and thank them for all that they do and all that they bring to our country and to our heroes. I also want to welcome one of the individuals who is not with us this evening, who we have not had a chance to interview yet, is D&M Pros Doug Thibodeau. And what they do is they put out those boxes that you see every once in a while at a restaurant that plays like the funny videos. As I always tell them, it's those videos where dad takes the kids out sledding for the first time, and they're all happy and they're all thrilled that they're out there together. They're having a bunch of fun and everything, and all of a sudden the kid slides right into dad's crotch. Well, that's what you get for standing there trying to film a child that's coming at you at about 25 miles an hour on ice. But it is fun to watch. So keep doing it. I appreciate it. But if you get a hold of Doug, if you're in business, you can add one of those boxes to your wall, to one of your TVs, cutting down the price that the cable company sends you dramatically, because each TV costs money. I know at one point in time for the football packages alone, I know that they were charging well over $300 per TV, which is just an insane amount of money. Hey, we all apparently love the NFL, so if we can't watch it, we're going to be upset or something. So, but what Doug can do is he can give you one of these TVs that shows advertisements, shows music videos. And, oh, by the way, you don't have to pay for the licensing. Little thing that you really have to take into consideration is that if somebody comes up and they really want to press the issue, even by just playing regular TV at the bar, it's not exactly legal. You have to have the rights to do that. So, but we want to welcome Doug with D&M Pros. You can see Doug's logo above me. We're thrilled to have him with us. One more addition is Susan Ahern, one of my great friends from the Rev Show. She is the Cape Cod Happy Medium. She's going to be joining us on the show. She's taking over 1 hour as a guest host, and she is going to be talking not about the paranormal. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're going to talk a little bit about the paranormal, just because that's what she's really known for. And talking to the dead, it's what she's known for. But she really wants to get into doing the naturopathic healing. And she's been doing it for a while. She's been working with a lot of people who are coming out of prison, and they got to really watch what they take because of restrictions. Plus, there's a whole new PTSD that they deal with that she's able to take in and work with them and try to build a normalcy with them. So Susan Ahern, it's fantastic to finally get to work with this lady, because her and I, we work together once a month. She's a beautiful, beautiful person. We have a lot of fun when we're working together. Our first guest that we have this evening is one of our brand new partners. Her name is Monika Lux, and she's an immigrant from Germany, and she lives in Canada now. She explains why Canada. She explains why she left. Um, just a very exciting to me interview. I had a really good time talking to her, learning a lot about her. Her business is called Balance Ching Mindful Institute. And you have to throw that chi out there, because this is about your chi. It is naturopathic healing. It's one of those things that, you know what? Look, here's the truth. It's becoming more and more popular because more people are trying to get away from the drugs and the uses of you know non-natural chemicals, because every pill you see, well, it's mixed with something else. Natural healing is just that, natural. Comes from the ground, comes from a tree, comes from an herb. Yeah, comes from a guy named Herb. So, but I enjoy I enjoy this conversation. I really, really do, and I hope that you find it as enjoyable as I did. Um, we uh, this is a little bit longer video than normal, but that's okay, because she really had a lot to say, and I had a lot of questions. And those are the best kind of interviews for me, because you know what? That means that there's a lot of information coming. So, once again, I'd like to introduce you to new friend, brand new partner, and brand new sponsor of Community Mission to Rescue 22, Monika Lutz. We are very, very excited to have one of our brand new family members, our sister Monika Lux. How are you doing, Monika?
I'm doing great, thank you. And I feel honored to be here today and talking to you.
Well, your program, in which we're going to get into here very shortly, when we first met, um, it was one of those programs that a light kind of lit up in my head that this is so perfect for what we're trying to do, when it comes to Rediscover the Happy Place, which is our program to try to help people who are not feeling mentally as strong as they could be. Monika, you you migrated here from Germany, um, and what was the reason for coming to? You're in Montreal, correct?
No, on Vancouver Island in
Ah,
British
Vancouver
Columbia.
Island. So I didn't just miss, but I missed by a country. So look at that. You're on Vancouver Island. What made you make the drastic change from Germany to Vancouver Island?
There were a lot of reasons why I came to Canada. And I think one of them was a generational reason because, I have a grandmother, and her father immigrated to the US, and he built up a pretty good business, but then he went back to Germany to fulfill a dream. He always loved to work with horses. And he had two big horse stables where he bred horses and trained horses. And then the war came along and destroyed everything. And he ended up as an extra in old German movies, which I find totally exciting. I never met my grandmother. My grandmother died exactly during the pregnancy. So when my mom was pregnant with me, my grandmother died. And that's why I have the middle name Marguerite. And I don't know, I was driven to leave my country and to live somewhere else and to finish something that was unfinished. And I knew it's the healing. I just knew it's the healing. This was one reason. The other reason is not really not really very important. It's just that I found Germany very crowded, very
Oh,
crowded and busy, and I don't know.
um, your grandfather, you said he was in movies. Was he in the Hitler propaganda movies, or was this prior to the Nazi Revolution?
No, it was well, you know, some people would call it propaganda. I found the movie, the most important movie where he was in, I actually found in the US. I found somebody who owned the VHS tape and sent it to me, and I put it on DVD, and then I watched it. And I didn't find it as a propaganda movie. I found it was more a movie where you are just proud of the country you're living in, where your heart is, because it was about a writer who was very wounded during World War I, but a horse kind of saved his life, and the doctor said he would never be able to ride again, but he made it happen with a lot of strength and faith and hope, and he never gave up hope. So it's a movie about hope, which is the most important thing in our lives. And he got out of bed, and first he was on crutches, and one day, although the doctor said, if you mount a horse again, your spine could break and you could be paralyzed for life, he just risked it. And through coincidences, which are no coincidences in life, he found the horse that saved his life during the war, and he made it to a jumper. And he took part in the very first tournament, the jumping tournament in Switzerland. And he made it to place 1. So he won the tournament. And it was pretty moving for me, even though I was already in Canada when I saw this movie. But it was very moving. The band that was there and the audience had booed him out because, you know, Germany was not very favorable after the First World War. And they booed him out, and the band couldn't find the hymn. They couldn't find the German hymn, the notes. So they kind of played it by ear, and it didn't sound very, very nice. But I remember that tears were running down my face because he brought back this pride that we all have for our country. And that's why I think it's not a propaganda movie. It's a movie about pride and hope and and achieving something unbelievable, going from almost being in the wheelchair to walking again, and to, it's a healing journey. This movie is a healing journey, and it really connected me very closely to a great grandfather I never knew.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. And I mean, that's kind of one of the things that as soon as I wanted to get back onto the motorcycle, in which I wanted to do immediately, I wanted to I wanted to get back onto the motorcycle the day after the accident, but of course I couldn't do it. It would have been stupid for me to try. I didn't have any balance, and things would have just been really ugly. But 3 months after the accident, against the wishes of everyone, you know I got back on. And it's one of those things that you know, I love with all my life. And one thing that I find very inspiring is that one of the organizations that we work with is the Veterans Ranch in Florida, which is horse therapy for our veterans. So, it ties into that movie quite well. So I think that I think that's awesome. So when did you make this transition? When did you make the big move?
In 2007.
So you're still fairly new to the Western way of life then.
Yeah, yeah, I am. In a way, I am, yes.
What are some of the things that you picked up on immediately, and what are some of the things that you've continued to struggle with?
Hmm. What I picked up immediately was the sense of freedom, because everything is wider. It's just there is so much space. And I love this sense of freedom. I love uh, going outside in nature, in parks, to rivers, to lakes. Here on Vancouver Island, I mean, I immigrated to Manitoba, but now on Vancouver Island, I have the ocean. I've since I was a little girl, I dreamt of the ocean, and now it's so close to me, and it's just amazing. And when I look over the ocean, I feel this freedom again, because it's the horizon and the infinity of view you have. There is I don't know, but I feel limitless here. And in Germany, it was there was a house everywhere, and I don't know, I didn't have this feeling. So this was the first feeling I took up. The things I still struggle, which makes me angry, is the language, because I was so explicit and detailed in expressing myself in German, and I'm trying my best to transform this into the English language, but I still have moments where I'm like, I know this word, I know this word. Oh, it's not coming to me. So this is the main thing. I think one day I will get into a group for public speaking to train myself more. But I guess it's okay as a
Hey,
second
and
language.
this is just me. I think that you do beautifully. I really do. And one of the things to let you know, my son teaches English to children in Japan. I have a son who teaches English to children in Japan, and he struggles every once in a while because we'll say something over here and they won't have a word for it in Japanese. So
Yes.
there's a lot of times that we've got words in our language that it doesn't equate or it doesn't show itself in other languages. And so I think that that's what makes it very difficult. Plus, the English language that we have you know, comes from so many different other languages, Spanish and Dutch and all these other, there's so many other words that make up our language. And so it makes it a little bit more difficult. I didn't realize until I was a little bit older that English is one of the more complex languages to learn, um, as a base language. Yet
Yes.
it's the language that is everywhere. Communist Russia, they have signs in Russia. I'm sorry, it's not communist yet, Russia, but in Russia they got signs that are in Russian, and then right underneath it is the translation in English. And it's just, you know, we are everywhere. We have, as Americans, we basically, you know, if there's not an American there, then it's undiscovered. But or an English speaking person. So, but I just want to let you know that I think that you do beautifully. You haven't struggled at all in either of our conversations.
Thank you, thank
So
you. But you are so right. When I came to Canada and I started coaching and counseling people, I thought, oh my God, there isn't a word for this, or this doesn't feel like the German word. It's so interesting that we have an emotion behind the words, and it didn't feel like this. So what I always do is when I'm coaching or counseling somebody, I say, I give you a kind of a frame, but you please reframe it and you put it in your own words. That's what I always say, because I know I cannot express what the person is feeling. So I always encourage them to reframe it into their own phrases and how they would say it.
the things that you do has a lot to do with your emotions, though. So the way that you learn it, the emotion that you have in that is very important, is it not?
Yes, it is. It
You need
is
to, if
very important. Yeah.
yeah, so if you need to take and you need to adjust it to feel a certain way, it's so important, right?
Yes.
Well, Monica, we're at the point of the show where I would like for you to tell us a little bit about Balancing Mindfulness Institute. Give us a little bit of an idea on what your purpose, what your mission is, and what you would like to see more people help you help them accomplish.
So balancing, first of all, was already created in Germany, and it because I always, or let me put it like this: my life was changed through energy healing, and the Chinese word for energy is qi. Like sometimes it's written differently. It's not CHI, it's QI, or in Reiki, in Japanese, it's KI. So there are different methods of spelling it, but in the core, chi is energy, and everything I do is about balancing energies, because I believe in what the energy medicine says, that all our diseases start as an imbalance, an energy imbalance. So when we look at traditional Chinese medicine, we see all those meridians flowing through our body, and there are always two meridians coupled. Like, for example, bladder and kidney belong to each other and are a couple, or heart and small intestine. And as we are always in motion in life, they are never balanced. There's always an over energy and an under energy. And but when this imbalance becomes too harsh, like the pendulum goes from one side to the other side, and the
And a little bit of disruption is going to make it swing, and
yes,
it's going to make it hit other things.
right. And when the disruption is too badly, then it manifests physically.
Right.
So what I see in my whole work is that most of the things really, they are rooted in our emotions that get trapped somewhere in the body. It's our emotional experiences, and they start so early when we look at childhood development, and we see that between birth and 6 to 7 years, uh, kids just absorb things, and between birth and 3 years, they are so dependent on their parents, on their caregivers, on everything they experience. And when the family is not functional, when there's dysfunction, imagine this ongoing trauma for a child. And that's kind of where I come from. I come from this constant trauma during the whole time I was at home. And at one point, I just I couldn't bear it anymore, and I adopted the one of the now 5 survival patterns, and this was blacking out. I just blacked out. Every time it was too much for me, I blacked out. And of course, no doctor would find anything. That's the thing. No doctor will find anything
Well,
because it's a survival pattern.
well, let me ask you this, and believe me when I say this, because my lifestyle, having my wife and having the circle that she has introduced me to, is this a little bit of like Wiccan thinking, possibly? I mean, there sounds like there's a lot of, when you start talking energy levels and stuff like that, it brings me back to it brings me into similarities of the Wiccan uh train of thought.
It's definitely metaphysical, and it's definitely connected to all shamanism that is existing in the world, I
Yeah.
would say.
So,
I would more even say shamanism, because this was part even of my education in Germany, that we connected with nature. We looked at at nature as a metaphor for ourselves and our lives.
well, I'm kind of feeling the irony right now that we are doing this on the Lunar New Year. So, you and I, we connected and we're doing this on the Lunar New Year. And I know that there are other people sitting there going, what the hell is this guy talking about? But with chi, uh that would just really make there's symbiotic there, the Lunar New Year and your chi. How your new year coming in is going to affect your chi, and your chi is going to affect your new year, right?
Yes, yes, definitely. You can do so much with energy,
Mm-hmm.
when you understand. And this is what I want to teach many people who, for example, take a Reiki level 1 and 2 seminar on the North American continent in 2 days. What they often don't understand, they give their own energy. You're never giving your own energy. I could do energy healing for 24 hours straight without sleeping, and I would be more energized
Mm-hmm.
than I would before, because I am channeling energy. That's the most important thing. You are not losing your own energy. In contrary, the more you channel energy for another person and help another person, the more energized you feel yourself. And that's how I feel after coaching or counseling sessions. It's such a reward when the person I'm working with is feeling better and is leaving my practice with a new hope. This is this is so rewarding that I feel healthier than before.
Yeah.
Just because the person feels healthier.
So, Monica, give me an example of what somebody goes through when they come to you.
There are different things, but they all boil into trauma. So, for example, I remember one lady in Manitoba who was already, because sometimes you always think of younger people, but she was over 17. She was retired already, and she came because somebody recommended me. And she said she has migraines, and those migraines drive her crazy. And whatever drugs or pharmaceuticals she takes, it can never uh, really help her. And she's not able to do anything during the day. She just lies in bed and prays that this goes over with. And uh, I'm very intuitive. I'm an intuitive counselor. I connect with the energy field of the other person. And my first question always is, so since when do you have those symptoms? And she told me that it happened since her mother's death. And then I know there is something around her mother's death that's traumatic. I just know it. And I said to her, so what happened? And first of all, people often don't want to talk about it. You can see that there is an underlying cause because they are choking up and they get tears in their eyes and they oh, it's already in the past. I don't want to talk about it. But you can't put anything in the past and just bury it because it boils up again. And so I convinced her to talk about it. And she had been with her mom and caring for her mom to the last breath. But she left the room for 5 minutes. And in those 5 minutes, the mom had died. And I just asked her one question. I said, so did your mom have migraines? And she said, yes, all her life. So we did a healing ritual. Of course, it's difficult to put it into 5 minutes now in an interview, but in the end, it was that I guided her to meet her mom. So she had to close her eyes, and I guided her through a process to meet her mom, and the mom was fine with her not being there. The mom told her, I chose this moment because I just wanted to be alone and leave alone, and it has nothing to do with you. And so in the end, I let her also give back the migraine and say to the mom, it belongs to you, not to me. And as we have forgiven each other now, and we are connected in heart with our hearts again, I can give it back to you, and I can be free of migraines. And she became free of migraines. So that's in a nutshell a healing process.
Is there some are there some people that like is there a group of people that you just find it very difficult to work with? You have to have a little bit of an open mind when they come to you, right? I mean, you can't be somebody who's shut-minded and you're like, you know what, this doesn't have to do with drugs, so it's not going to work.
You
right?
know, the funny thing about this lady was she didn't want to come. I was recommended to her, and she was pretty like, ah,
Hmm.
I sit back, this won't work. And in the end, she said to me, I would have never thought that this works and that you can make me cry, because I haven't cried for over 10 years. So
Well,
yes, in a way they have to be a little open, but sometimes they open up when they come, even though they are first, uh, I don't know.
so you don't, so you're not going to differentiate. If somebody comes in, you're going to say, you know what, we're going to do this. You
Yes.
know, uh, skepticism, damn ye, no matter if you're skeptical or not, we're going to give it a try. If it works, or
Yes.
when it works, you're going to see what we're talking about.
Yes, exactly. And you know, often I don't know if I can say I have a way with people, but they very I can build rapport very quickly and have people trust me. And this is a thing I always say I should have noticed back then when I was a young girl or a teenager, because people, they poured out their hearts to me, and I just listened or held hands or didn't even say something, but people always came to me and poured out their hearts and their sorrows and everything. I don't know if it is a gift of God or something, but most people just open up with me.
We're now looking at your website, which is balanching.org. Once
Yes.
again, that's balanching.org. Such a beautiful, beautiful website. And this is just talking about,
The
you know,
transformation. The
there.
butterfly just stands for the transformation. And I always say, also in my Qigong classes, the butterfly is can only do it once. We can really do it every day.
Hmm.
Every new day is a new day. It's a blank page in the books of our lives, and we can write a new story. We can rewrite our story, and it's our story. We believe our story so much that we get prisoners of our stories. And if we can rewrite the story, if we can release those buried emotions, then we can break free, and then we can find the inner happiness again, the inner joy that comes from the heart, from reconnecting with ourselves, from becoming ourselves again, the core self, the diamond that's inside each of us, or the little spark that stays inside of us that we can rekindle, and then it becomes a fire, and we become strong again and unstoppable and encouraged, and the peaceful warriors in our lives, and we can create life.
Stopped here on this page because I love these sound bowls. Uh,
Yes.
I think that there's a vibration that comes off of them that just really, they can hit that certain tone that where it does. You can feel stress drain off of you if you just open up a little bit and accept it to come in, you know. Um,
Do
and
you have a sound bowl, by the way?
we do not, we do not. Adrian has just as many crystals as she can possibly have. And get this story. Last night, a friend of hers brought over a voodoo doll, just because, they were doing some stuff together. And this friend of hers brought over a beautiful, beautiful voodoo doll. And our dog chewed it up this morning. So our dog might turn into a werewolf or something. We don't know. but our dog ate it this morning, and so if something bad happens to our dog, we know what it is. But
Oh my goodness.
so
Well, about sound bowls, I took a course in Germany and it was about sound bowl massage. And it's incredible if you have one of those sound bowls. There are certain spots where they can be placed on the body, and you bang them on the body and you feel this vibration going through your body. It's amazing.
oh wow, it does sound cool. Yeah, we got. I know that we were looking at buying one. There's a beautiful one in a little store, Blue Mountain Stone, which is heading up to Estes where we live. They've got a couple really beautiful ones. They got one that she really likes, but it sits on the ground and it's about 130 pounds. I don't think we're gonna put that on anybody.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
that
No.
that one I don't think we're gonna put on. I could probably handle it, me being the fat guy I am, but I don't think we're gonna be putting it on anybody else. So um well, tell me this, Monica. What is the one thing that you would like to tell somebody if somebody walked up to you and they say, well, what would you want me to get after a couple sessions with you? What is the one thing you would like me to know after a couple sessions with you?
So first of all, people who come to me feel that there is something in life that keeps them stuck. There is something that doesn't work out, where let's say, in a relationship, the relationships don't work out, or I remember in my late teenage years and beginning of 20s, I couldn't keep a job. I was so um, shy. I didn't have any self-confidence. I just could not keep up with the job. I would get in the afternoon at the job site, I would get stomach cramps, and I had to go home, and I lost one job after another. So there's some indicator that you are not living the fullest expression of yourself. And then people would come to me, or I would go to reach out for help. And I can just say you can be the fullest expression of yourself. You can really break free from whatever it is. Is it your childhood trauma? Is it later trauma through an accident? Is it trauma through war? You can definitely break free. And the big secret, which sounds very, very easy, but isn't at all, is detaching the emotions from the event. That's the big secret. If you can think back to your childhood and you don't feel this stressed out feeling anymore, you don't you can look back to childhood, and on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is you don't have any emotions anymore, it's perhaps between a 0 and 1, it's fine. And when you can look back and you can see that your parents did the best they could at that time, and all the, I know we are on camera, so I shouldn't say the
You
SHIT
can you can
word.
yeah, you
but
can
but
say
they
all
were
the bullshit. You can say it. We're okay.
they were dealing with their own shit, right?
Right?
They had trauma during wartime. My dad fled from the Russians. He lost his dad at war. So there is this trauma of our parents, and they did the best they can. And if you can then let go of this childhood and move forward, it's just detaching those freaking emotions, you know, the hatred, the anger, the whatever it was that you have. Um, I can't even imagine um, what it means to a soldier to see his best friend next to him blown to pieces next to him. I mean, I can't even imagine how horrible this must be, and especially when you know you are at war and you feel one in this troop. The troop is your family, and you feel one with another, and you take care of another, and you sit in the evening, you sit together, and you see the picture of the girlfriend of this man who sits next to you, and the next day, you know, this girlfriend will never see him again.
Mm-hmm.
And all this trauma, you can't even imagine. How would you ever be able to detach the emotion? But in a way, we can have our own hope, and we can um, release this survival guilt. Why would he be killed and I survive? I don't understand. I'm not special. Why would I survive, right? But there is just a way to free yourself and to enjoy life again. Although there has been so much trauma and pain, so much internal pain, but you can give all those people you lost, you can give them a new place in your heart where they live on with you, and you can absolutely then find joy in life again. That's what I want. This is my mission. This is what I want to say everyone. I wasted 30 years being sent from one conventional therapy to another until I finally was introduced to energy healing and found my way and found a quicker way where we can go into the subconscious, work with the subconscious, and release those buried emotions, those trapped emotions that hold us back from living our fullest life.
Your your lessons can also help people who have suffered pain within childhood, abuse,
Yes.
um, many different types of abuse, and um, even items that maybe they don't remember exactly why they're hurting, but it can still help them, correct?
Yes, yes, they don't even, they often don't have to remember. I work a lot of with biofeedback, with asking the body. So I can ask the body, did this trauma occur between your birth and 5 years old? And who was involved? Was it your parents or caregivers or a nurse or whatever it was? And often then there comes back a glimpse. And sometimes we don't even need to know. I can even ask, do we need to know? And sometimes it says no, and then we can just release it. And there are certain points in the body that help us release trauma and buried emotions. There's, for example, a stress release hold where you put one hand on the back of your head and one hand on your forehead, and you just hold and you breathe deeply until this emotion dissolves, because an emotion is in motion. It doesn't stick with you, it dissolves again. So you can get rid of anxiety, you can get back into the present moment and breathe away anxiety with this hold. It's a very important hold.
Um, I want to tell you, Monica, we are thrilled to have you as part of our team. I think it is. I think it's beautiful that you're what you're doing. I think is fantastic. Like I said, if I would have been talking to you 2 years ago, I'm not sure if I would have understood a single word that you're saying, but now I understand a lot of it, being that it is the other half of my life, is what I say. But you can always reach out to Monika at Balancing Mindfulness Institute by calling her at 204-720-8161. Once again, that's 204-720-8161. Balancing at hotmail.com, and it's balancing.org. Did I get that all correct?
Yes, you got it all correct. And I have a YouTube channel where I offer free self-help tips. So there are a lot of things like the hold and breathing exercises, mantras, mudras, qigong, reiki, self-reiki. There are a lot of self-help tips on my page, and where I talk about communication styles and all sorts of stuff.
All right. And that page is called, is it Balancing?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The handle is @balancing. If you put in @balancing, you should be able to find me on YouTube.
Well, Monika, again, I am proud to be able to call you a sister. I am proud to welcome you to our family. I look forward to working with you to try to not only help grow your business, but really make changes in a lot of people's lives, and try to help a lot of people with their own self growth, and self recovery. It is true that every single one of us have some type of baggage that can bring us down if we don't get ahead of it. And I think that the program that you're putting together, that you're working on, I think is a great way to get started. So I thank you very much.
Oh, I thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to working with you as well.
Well, again, this was Monika Lux, and you can get a hold of her at 204-720-8161. One last time, that's 204-720-8161. And you can reach out to her on, there is a place for to contact her on her website, balancing.org. That's BALANCHING.org. Or you can just send her an email to balancing@hotmail.com. Again, thank you, Monika, and we will talk to you very soon, okay?
Thank you very much, Zach.
I told you, she is she's fantastic. I really had a lot of fun recording that interview. And I also enjoy bringing stuff like this out into the open because, years ago, I guess you could have got burned for that, offering people this stuff. But the thing is now, with everything that's going on with addictions and opioid problems and just miscommunications, crooked doctors, crooked pharmacists, crooked insurance companies. Not that any insurance company is crooked. No. Isn't it kind of nice being able to talk to somebody who can take what you already have? You've already got it. Okay. This isn't like the witch oil products that that are out there. This is stuff that you already have. It's already in your body, it's already in your system, it's already in yourself. She just takes and pulls it out and brings it to you. Now, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be introducing you to another couple organizations that do really similar stuff, but they're similar but different. And every single one of them has their own path. And it's just like everything in the world. You're going to do something one way, I'm going to do it another way, and we're going to get together and we're going to say which way works best for me. Okay? Just because it works for you does not mean it's always going to work for me. So this is really, really cool because, we have people out there like Balanchine. Once again, and I stated it in the video. 2 years ago, some of the stuff that she was talking about, I would be sitting here trying to talk to you about, and it'd just be like, weep. My wife came up to me today, her and two of her friends, they're going to open something that has to do with naturopathic herbs. God, I don't know why I keep thinking herb has anything to do with this, but naturopathic herbs and crystals and stuff like that. And she gets to use her artwork. And I think it's going to be really cool. And it's going to be really, first off, it's fun for her because she loves being artistic. She loves doing things, that, she likes doing it. So I love to support her. Please remember that you can always get a hold of me by going to For My Card. And all you got to do right now is scan this little thing here. And when you do that, you're going to get All Access Zach. I don't know how good that is. Yeesh. I'm not sure how much all access I would want of me, but you'll get to know everything about us. You'll get to find the website. You're going to find the events page. You're going to find everything that you need to know on there. And all you have to do is scan this little QR code. Don't have a scanner? Need something else? Well, how about you just go to my website, theformycard.net, Zach Clayton. It's formycard.net/u/36RU. I am not 36 /Zach_Clayton. So you can either go that route, which seems a little difficult to me, but hey, it's your life, not mine, right? So the next little thing that we're going to be talking about, it deserves a little thing like this. Our dear friend, the goddess of the grape, Stephanie Samos, today found out that she's got an address of her farm, something that she's been dreaming about doing. And I want to congratulate her and her husband, as we were lucky enough to be able to announce on our show. Stephanie announced last week that she is with child. So congratulations to you, to your husband, and to the kids. I think it's great. I love it. Congratulations to, things are going great for you. You got all kinds of stuff going on, and I couldn't be happier for you. We ask you to please go and check out our Facebook page. It is the Community Pay It Forward One Hope Wine Facebook page. All you got to do is go in there and type in Community Pay It Forward and One Hope Wine. It'll come up. All right. And it's going to be talking about everything that we've got going on right now. And we are coming down to the last few days of this. We have the event going for Zita's Healthy Beginnings. We need you to please make sure, look, once again, Valentine's Day's coming. February's coming, so why not? Let's get some wines. Let's get them ordered. There's the shimmer bottles. There's all that stuff that you can purchase, and when you do it, you're going to be supporting some great causes. Now, starting on February 1st, everyone that you see on the bottom of this logo here, right across the bottom, starting with Veterans Honoring Veterans, Healing Warriors, Veterans Ranch, the Giving Tree, G.I. Josie, Project Die Hard, Hope Advanced, and VWAS, along with Community Dare to Care. Every single one of those gets a purchase every time that you get to choose which one you are donating to. When you donate to this mission right now, the money gets split between all of them. If you want to join us in sponsorship, as you can see, I've got more screen back here. Your company can come and join us. And once again, there's plenty of screen here, so you can do what Cape Cod Happy Medium, Scott O'Sullivan, D&M Pros, Autumn Dahlia, The Rev, Paranormal Ministry, Auxilia, Help OpX, which you're going to be learning more about here real quick. The Samos family, that's our goddess of the grape. Z World Webs, Beniching, or I'm sorry, I screwed it up. Balanching is up there. That's that very beautiful butterfly. 93.5, the oldies, pirate radio in Fort Collins. Things Network, which they are allowing us to, and this is so great. We are going to be simulcasting on the 22nd on all of the Things networks. So I want to thank Jeremy for allowing us to do this. Nick, who you saw right before this show, Nick is going to be altering his show a little bit. And he's going to be doing something about a haunted camp, old base. And I think that's really neat. Writer Justice and CBA Bookkeeping are all part of what we're doing. We're trying to make a difference. We're trying to save lives. One other thing that we've got going on, which is very important, our dear friend Carolyn Rasmussen from Pampered Chef has started a party. Yeah, party. Woohoo! I hope that you got our Facebook group for One Hope Wines, because, boink, use this code right now to go, and your purchases will go towards funding these. I did it the wrong way. These organizations. Every time that you make a purchase using this code, these 9 organizations that we're working for right now get a purchase of the money. Okay. Veterans Honoring Veterans. They take and they give statuettes to our veterans, make them remember that they are remembered, they are loved, they're respected. Healing Warriors. They provide medical care to our veterans, and it costs them absolutely nothing. Veterans Ranch is in Florida. JR has been on this show many, many times. Beloved friend, just absolutely great guy. Equine therapy. The Giving Tree, Paranormal Giving Tree. This is a unique thing. This is one that, you know what, you may believe in them, you may not. But if somebody in the veteran world is being bothered, or the law enforcement world, the medical field, if somebody's being bothered, these guys will go in, and if they feel like they're being bothered by something that's not from our realm, they'll go in and investigate. G.I. Josie, brand new, just met him. Females, working with females to defeat their TBI and PTSD. Make sure that they understand that they're there. There's someone there to help them. Project Die Hard. I do want to share this real quick, and I have no idea where the hell it went. Here it is. If you go to this tinyurl.com, you're going to find a story about a breakfast. Let me go on ahead, and I'm going to take this off here real quick so I can do this. But there's some breakfast going on at an IHOP there in the Kentucky area. So if you're in the area, please make sure that you visit them, and you can support this great mission, because Project Die Hard, look, all they're trying to do is make a difference in veterans' lives. Again, it's going to be popping up in the chat right now. See, I told you. Look, right there. I told you. It's there. But visit and find out more. You can find the story right there. Hope Advanced, somebody that we haven't had the pleasure of talking to in quite a while. And this is Tim and Brownie. Wonderful, wonderful people. We went to, Adrian and I went to dinner with them. They drove all the way up here from Colorado Springs just to have dinner with us. And honestly, two of the nicest people I've ever had a chance to meet. And they help people with their background checks. They also help them with their credit checks, credit repairs. Make sure that you are ready for the world, because the world is a bad, bad place if you're not ready for it. And VWAS, Veteran Warrior One-Stop Shop. Why would you go to 17 different places to find organizations that are aimed at helping veterans, when all you got to do is go to VWAS and you can find it all? Add to this, you've also got Community Dirty Care, the donation dens, which I've mentioned them over and over again. The donation dens are a place where we take in donations from you, the great public, and then we give them on the backs of people who need them. There's never a cost for clothing. There's never a cost for donated items that are of life critical need. Look, the thing is that they're not ours, so we don't want to sell them. If people can donate when they come and pick stuff up, thank you. If you can't, that's not what this is about. This is from the community, for the better of the community. Help OpX is another brand new partner. We do not have them yet in the website because somebody got a little sidetracked today. It's the best way to put it, is I got sidetracked today. But I am going to introduce you. We had a wonderful conversation this afternoon with the founder. And this is amazing because this kid is young. God, he's so young. Makes me go, you're young. Then again, I'm, Saw it the other day. Saw a shirt that just fits me perfect. That's when the hell did I get the age of the old people? I truly do feel that right now. So, but we are going to be coming right back with Wesley Ma, the founder and the president of Help OpX. Hey everybody, we're back. We've got even more great news. One of our a new partner again. This is great. We already talked to Monika earlier, and she's a brand new partner. Now I've got Wesley Ma from helpopx.com. Wesley, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, great, Zach. It was great meeting you, and I'm really glad that we got connected. And I know we're gonna do some really great work in the community.
You know, there are times when you meet somebody and their program is just so wonderful because it fits with your mission. And that's really kind of what I felt yesterday when you and I initially met. Um, you have a program, and usually we start the opposite way, but we're going to start with the company first. Your company is offering people who are struggling. You guys have a really, really good program that starts at $50 a month. Why don't you go on ahead and tell us why you felt the need, excuse me, to make this so affordable?
Right, right. So just going back on me and my, co-founder stories, growing up, we're second generation Americans. We had to help our parents navigate the healthcare and social system here in the US because their English wasn't that good. And the people that really helped us out and our parents out were these nonprofits or community organizations. But as we grew up, these organizations really started to get smaller or just disappear. So we thought the best way that we could, kind of give back was to help these community organizations and these nonprofits. And so all these nonprofits dealing with things like burnout, administrative burden or busy work, as me and Zach, talked about yesterday. Um, we're trying to relieve all of that, and we didn't want cost to be a barrier. We know that smaller organizations, they need it the most. They need this help the most, but they cannot afford it. So that's why we made it so affordable.
Well, do you see the on the bottom? Do you see the little button that says present?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you want to go through your PowerPoint,
Hmm.
I would love for you to show people exactly what you do. Just go
Gotcha.
to that
Okay.
button that says present and go to share screen.
Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna do a share presentation. Let me see. Let me bring up of another nonprofit. Um, and this is I think it's a Philadelphia nonprofit. So I'm gonna skip forward so because I don't want their information on the screen,
Right, right.
but so I can just go over like how we would work together and things of that nature. So can you see the screen? All right, Zach.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Um, so what we do first is, we go to and talk to a nonprofit if they're serious enough to put the money down of $50 a month. That just means that they're very committed, and that's what it's all about, you know. And so what we do is we do a deep dive into a nonprofit's top three most cumbersome processes, or the most popular services. And then we found out ways how to automate or make more efficient those processes using our software technology and using the past experience that we've had, because we work with nonprofits all over the US. And then we kind of talk about how we're going to engage with those programs, and then set you guys up for success. Um, so then some examples of like how we do that is, you might be wondering like, well, how can you automate these different processes? Well, we've talked to over 50 nonprofits before even building out this particular product that we have. And we saw all of the different things that were annoying for nonprofits to do, from small, medium, large. And so we just put all those things in there. And one of those things was case management, being able to intake people one by one and have them inside of a database, um, and then being able to refer them to different departments or different organizations within, your nonprofit. And so when you're able to refer the different people into your organization, um, different volunteers, for example, that you would have would be able to receive emails automatically. So if you're helping somebody out and you wanted to refer them to a volunteer that helps with mental health, or they help with a veteran's physical therapy or something like that, that person would get an email and be like, hey, go ahead and help this person out. Another thing that we do is, we saw a lot of people using like Jotform or SurveyMonkey, and it just costs a lot of money. So we're just like, let's give them a survey building tool for free, or that's included in the $50 package. So we put in all the different question types under the C that an organization would need, and we just put it in here. Again, it was just from the request of different nonprofits. So another thing that you can do even is you can share these surveys on your website, and all the answers will directly go into this platform, or you can make these into QR codes so that when people are scanning or picking up goods, you save a lot of time having them write their name down or put it down elsewhere. So depending on how people fill out the survey, for example, if you provide like housing, utility services, and other services, it would automatically generate tickets to help a person with those specific things. And then your team can go ahead and delegate with themselves and assign tickets to themselves, and then write down what the outcome was in helping that person. So this kind of removes the step of that we see a lot of people going through their Google forms, going through their survey forms, and then figuring out what people answered and then like reaching out to them that way. Instead of we've automated away that kind of busy work for your team to do. So an example is here, like once you assign yourself to a person, like a volunteer, or maybe you do it, the volunteer and the community member would receive a text message, and it would say, "Hey, be sure to expect Zach. He's going to reach out to you within 24 hours." And then it'll say, "Hey, reach out to Wesley within 24 hours. He's expecting you to talk about mental health." And so we also offer mass text messaging services. This was a big one for nonprofits because this is taken from an Amazon Web Services phone number. So you're not giving out your personal phone number when you're doing these mass text messages, because a lot of people were complaining that people would reach out to them, when they're trying to sleep, or when they're trying to relax, and they wanted to reduce burnout. But you can also filter these different things. So if somebody came over for like a veterans related event or a food related event, you could mass text message everyone that has received those kinds of services before. Um, and another example of how to use surveys, you could send a mass text message to your volunteers, to your employees, and you could say, how did this impact your family? Or for a neighborhood cleanup, you could say, how much trash did you pick up this day, for example. And then we built in different data visualization tools for these surveys because we knew that not everybody is an Excel wizard. We know that everybody does not have like a master's degree in like data or something like that. So we wanted to make everything very accessible. So you could show your donors, you could show people that maybe you got a grant from, all the good work that you've done. So why it's important to have everything in one platform, whether it's surveys or a database or everything like that, is you can see all the different services you've ever given to a person, and all the different surveys that they've ever filled out. So this way you can address a person holistically. If somebody comes in for mental health, but you don't know that you've helped them out with homelessness before, you helped them out with utilities before, it's a different conversation altogether. And so these are just examples of the text messages that engage with, the community members. They don't need to download anything. Everything's text message based for them. For the nonprofits themselves, everything is web based. And you can even modify these, but it'll pull in the client's information, the service name, the employee or volunteer's name, and the organization name. But for example, people have even put in links to their mobile food market that travels around everywhere, and it just says the schedule on all of these automated text messages that get sent. And you could even review text messages exchanged between mass text messages sent out to members. And this is important because, like, if you're having an event and a lot of people can't come, maybe they text back and they say, hey, like, I didn't really feel comfortable coming to this event because it's far from the bus stop, and it's, when it gets dark, I don't feel safe walking home at night. So another thing that you can do is, if you're very comfortable with Excel and it's something you already use to keep a list, you can upload everybody onto our platform and have them, having received a certain service or having needed to reach out to them for something like, EBT assistance or utilities assistance. And you can do it all at once, because you don't want to do it like one by one. Like the flow I showed you before, if you're having like a big event, with 50 people.
Can you show us?
Mhm.
Can you show us one of the contact slide to where it shows everything that we can put in for the contacts? Can you go on ahead
Mhm.
and move the to the slide where it shows where they can place the contacts?
Oh, is it this one you're talking about?
I don't know. It's ours is not moving. The one that we're seeing is not moving. It's
Oh,
still
okay.
on the thank you page.
Oh, it didn't move from the thank you page.
No, it didn't. Um,
Okay, hold on.
so yeah,
I went through that whole thing. Hold on. Let me see.
yeah. Unfortunately,
Okay.
we'll try it again and see what
Okay,
happens.
hold on. Let's see. Let me see if I can share the whole. Let me just share my entire screen.
Yeah.
Um,
If you share the screen, I think it works much better now. Yep, there you go. There you go.
okay.
So yeah, but
Yes.
right here, yeah, this is the contact page where when you like, so say you contact somebody that there's some potential there. You can take and you can write, put their name in there. Looks like the email, I'm going to make this larger so I can read it since I'm blind.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
all the contact information, and then it gives you. I love the place where it gives you additional notes where you can
Yeah.
start talking about things that
Yeah.
well,
Right here.
you
Yeah.
know, this person is a dot 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 fan,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
so When you talk to them, you
Absolutely.
can bring that stuff up. You can really make a connection with people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so I mean, I wish that the other screens were there, but the beauty of this is like now you can see, everything all at once. All the services, all the surveys you've ever given people. And I don't know if it's still moving. Did it move to the?
Yeah, it's moving just fine now. Yeah, now we know that you got to do the share screen. So
Yeah, like okay. Well, I think that the ultimate thing, I guess, is like you can see um, if you're running multiple programs at once, you can see everyone you've ever served, all the programming you've done, and how healthy those programs are running. And these are all filterable by date. Um, an example of something that'll save you time is if you hate doing reports, is that we can actually auto generate a one pager for you, and it'll show up with your logo, your address, all the services you've ever provided, broken down by zip code. So this is something that'll save you a lot of time as a nonprofit if you're trying to go for a grant or you're just trying to show your constituents what you're up to. So, I'm sad we didn't get to have the screens on when I was talking about them because it's probably up to imagination. But
well,
yeah,
but if you would like, if you'd like to get um, a display on, what you just heard, you can always connect with Wesley's Calendly, which is showing on the screen now. But this right here is what I love. Okay, yep, you got the silver, the gold, the obsidian, the bronze package. You got all these, right?
hmm hmm
Usually with the bronze package, you get this much. It's very, very limited. But if
right.
you look on this, I mean, they're giving you up to 25,000 asset range.
Yeah,
Can
two hundred
you
fifty thousand, 250.
on the bronze?
Yep, yep, 250,000 and
Oh,
under.
there you
So
go. Yeah, 250,000. Tell me, can you explain exactly what an asset, what you mean by asset range, just for
right.
people who are.
Right. So it's like if in a year you get grants worth $250,000 or less, or you own like your nonprofit owns like a building or something like that, and even then, if your operating budget is small, because we'll work with big nonprofits, but they have a smaller volunteer department that's really struggling, and we'll still subject them to the smaller of the sliding scale. So like I was reading this statistic that 80% of nonprofits in the U.S. Have an operating budget of $500,000 or less. So and so that's where like our heart is. We want to help smaller nonprofits. A lot of people are like even dreaming of hitting 250,000.
Yeah.
And those are the organizations we want to help.
Yep. Well, that is something that again we share in common because and you and I discussed this when we talked a
Yeah.
little bit yesterday, that one of the worst things in the world is sitting there and hearing a nonprofit say the words, "God, I wish I would have known about you before this happened."
Right.
Um,
Right.
and
Right.
you are really giving these smaller nonprofits a chance to, first off, with your personal service. I mean, you guys are doing a lot
Mhm.
for a
Mhm.
very little amount of money for
Yeah.
startups. Okay. Even if you're just a solo person really trying to get started, I think that, in which solo person's a little weird to say because you have to have at least a board. But
Yeah.
let's be honest here. There's times that your first board are just people that you put together so you can get it passed. I mean, I hate to be frank like that, but it's true. So you know, this is let's start talking about the formation of this. It's you and a group of your friends who came up with this, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Absolutely.
And how old is this program? How long have you guys been around?
Yeah, so our original company, we've been around for like 4 or 5 years. But the nonprofit arm is something we just started almost exactly a year ago. So yeah, but we've been working with nonprofits for a very long time. And I think we just wanted to, everywhere we went, there were smaller, struggling nonprofits that were really just, using the extra time that they had in the day or, part time or whatever, trying to make it work. But the impact they had in the community was undeniable. So these were the people that were like, we need to help these people, you know.
A lot of times, and I can speak to this, there's a lot of times that a lot of the information that you guys are trying to help people obtain and remember, that's
Yeah.
a key word right there.
Yeah.
You think about it and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to sit down at the end of the day and I'm going to write all this stuff down, and by the time that you get done, it's like, did I talk to that person today, or did I talk to him yesterday, or do I talk
Mhm.
to him tomorrow? That's one that I've had. Okay,
Yeah.
why don't I remember anything from the conversation?
Right.
This gives you something that you can sit there, and if you have the double screens like a lot of us do, you can have that up there. They say something, you can just quickly type it in while you're still listening. It gives you all of the information,
Mhm.
and just it makes it to where when you come back and you talk to them again,
Yeah.
it gives that one-on-one personal feel,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
and I once again, $50 a month for something like this. I don't even know. I use Jot forms because I use the forms themselves. I don't use
Mhm.
the survey. We don't do surveys very often. I haven't had
Mhm.
much luck with them. Do you guys have an email blast attached to that?
We don't. We specifically only do text messages because we saw that people didn't have emails, like certain people that were homeless or whatever. They don't have a smartphone, they don't have those kinds of things. So to make it accessible, we just focus just on text messages. But so yeah, unfortunately, we that is one thing that we don't do. But it was more of like an accessibility thing. It's like let's you know, and people are more likely um, to respond to text messages than they are email. And then another thing was, there's a lot of like donor management software out there, and I just want to be clear that we're like not that. We're not gonna help you like do outreach for money and stuff like that, but we can help you with like positioning yourself for a grant or sustainable money or getting your data structured so you can present yourself to an existing donor. And a lot of people will say, we'll help your nonprofit make money, but we really help you service the community, and we think that's more valuable when you go to your community and you say, every dollar you donate, this is what it does for the community. This is what we did, rather than, hey, just give me money and I reach out to 10,000 people. Like we were very not for that. We were like we're the opposite way. Not to say that that isn't valuable, that you shouldn't have it at some point, but this is just what we're focused on.
All right, Wes, let's start talking about you a little bit. Um, when did you start getting into the nonprofit? When did you
Mhm.
start? Where does your heart for the nonprofit world, if I can
Mhm.
remember English here, um, where did your heart for the nonprofit world start? Exactly what was
Yeah.
it that made you go, hey, I want to help nonprofits?
Right. So I think for me, like I didn't even realize how powerful like community was and things of that nature, like nonprofits in general. I think it was kind of taken for granted. It was just like something that we would interact with. So we had like a volunteer Buddhist association that we would, we'd meet with different members of the community because there wasn't that many Asian people where I grew up. So this was like
Yeah.
an opportunity for my parents to find community, and even the Chinese school, you know. like that was an opportunity for my parents to talk to people and be like, oh, hey, how are you dealing with this situation? How are you dealing with this? And now like I went back to the Buddhist Association, and there's only one guy there now, and it was really it was pretty sad. Um, and so like I think and before we had done like we would help even volunteer and stuff like that, but what was really important was the community, because you're essentially you don't know much of anything. It's very easy to be taken advantage of. We were taken advantage of a few times, because of the lack of English. And so I think that's where it kind of started for us.
Um, were you born in the States, or did you
Mhm.
come over with your parents? You were born here in the States?
Yeah, so my parents, it's like a crazy story. I don't know if it'd be too long to tell the whole story, but basically my parents moved from Taiwan to Chicago, the South Side, in the 80s, and it was very dangerous at that time, during the crack epidemic. And then after one of their friends was killed on their way to work, they were walking to my parents were walking and they saw like the body and stuff like that. They decided they had to move. And the power of community is basically, at least for immigrant families, it's like you don't know places. So if somebody says like you should move here, you just do it because you have no other frame of reference. There was no really internet back then either. So, or it
Right.
wasn't what it was now. Um, and so the next place they moved was Detroit. So it wasn't really safer either. But I think my parents were trying to go to school and trying to do something like that. And then they moved around Detroit, and my siblings were born, and then they moved to the suburbs. And they took out a huge loan for us to get a good public education. Because they wouldn't let you go to school unless you lived in a certain district. And so that's a story of a lot of Asian families that I know, actually, and it's still going on today. They take out a huge loan so their kids can go to school, but they're not like they're house poor. Um, and so like that was the story of kind of what we went through. It was always my dream to pay off my parents' mortgages.
Yeah.
But they just paid it off like a couple years ago, but they're like 63 and 64 now. So imagine, having that debt for that and the sacrifice, for that whole time. So I'm extremely grateful for my parents. And that's why when smaller nonprofits are helping people, it's really like, I know the impact that small interaction can have, for the rest of a person's life. So, yeah.
This one's kind of touching on to subjects that are in the news right now, so please forgive me on this. But have you guys noticed that there's there for a little while there was a lot of anger and angst against the Asian community? Have you noticed
Hmm.
the lessening of that, or is that
Yeah.
still a problem?
So I think not where we are. So I'm in Birmingham, Alabama right now. There's not that many Asian people. And in Detroit, there's a good population, but they're in different pockets, and there was not that much friction in the community. And why I say that is because where these kinds of events are happening, there's a lot of Asian people there.
Yeah.
And so I could do a whole historical lesson on this, but you know in in LA, the Koreatown riots, or in New York, or wherever, there was Asian migrants coming over, and they were starting like grocery stores, or coming, starting all these
Hmm.
different things, and there was envy from different communities. And in some cases, the Asian store owners, they wouldn't treat people right, you know um there's even a documentary about how Asians moved down south in Mississippi, and those in Georgia, and they started the grocery stores. And the ones that did employ people in the community, the ones that were nice to the community during the riots, their store was untouched. But all the other ones got torn down. So it's like there was kind of like this taking of resources from other communities and not giving the respect or the kindness that the community deserved.
Yeah.
So it stems from a lot of historical issues, I believe. And sometimes people are just crazy and they come up with conspiracy theories. So I think there's two buckets of that.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's just it's really crazy because there was a lot of Asian migration when the railroads and
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
came over and they were this was like right at the end of the Civil War, so we had just got rid of excuse me when I say this, we had just ended slavery, um and then all of a sudden the migration came over and we had a whole new group of people that you know as and I'm saying this as a white person, that we found that we could treat like crap because they were over here to make a buck, and I mean, they just really got mistreated. A lot of them, they would
Mhm.
when they would die, they just left them there and continued. They would work them to death. So, and then with everything that's going on in the world today, I know that there was a lot there for a little bit. I believe in your neck of the woods, there was the shooting at the that parlor, and
Yeah, Vincent Chin, I believe. Yeah,
yeah,
Vincent Chin.
and
Hmm.
so it's I know that there for a while there were people who were scared and of Asian descent. They were really scared, and I just hope that you know definitely not trying to bring up anything bad, but I hope that that's getting a little bit better because
Yeah,
it's all ridiculousness. The one thing that we always say,
yeah.
Wesley, is that what, there's only one race, and that's the human
Hmm.
race. We need to make sure that we're taking care of each other because if
Hmm.
we don't, this is all we got. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, there's more coming every day, but we're losing more every day. So let's
yeah.
take care of who's here today and show tomorrow that there can be a better place. And that's
Right.
really kind of the and that's again, I think that community pay it forward and help op X is a perfect fit because we are trying to do the best we can do for the small
Hmm.
nonprofits, for
Absolutely.
these individuals who, at the end of the day, they really don't have a lot of money that, that because they've spent everything that they have earned on their second job to finance their
Hmm.
nonprofit. But this gives them a
Hmm.
chance to really start putting it in a professional way to where you can keep everything nice and clean and really treat your donors like your contacts, and treat them like, hey, I give a damn. And I think once again, Wesley, I think it's beautiful. I think that you and your partners did a fantastic job on this. So tell people, Wesley, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so different ways to get a hold of me. I think yeah, through the Calendly. If you want to, go on the website helpopx.com. And then I think there's a registration form or a contact form. I'll receive that email and then I can reach out to you guys and schedule some time. Or you can email me. Yeah, Zach is conveniently putting all the information up there. But if you want to just get into action straight away, just do the Calendly. But if you want to see more like a presentation and you don't really know the vision of how we can help you guys out, just feel free to email me. So
And
those are the best ways.
I definitely suggest that you get a hold of him and allow him to redo that presentation. That hey, technology. Sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes it's a beautiful thing, and then other times you wake up, and it's just not as good as it's supposed to be. Wesley, where do you guys want to be? What's the vision for Help OpX for 2024? Where do you guys
Mhm.
want to be, between
Yeah.
now and then?
I mean, I think I would love to have helped, 500 small nonprofits this year. I think that's our goal. We want to be able to help 500 smaller, struggling nonprofits and be able to say, like, we were able to do that. So that's our big goal.
See, again, that's beautiful, because a lot of times people will tell you money. This is what I want to do. And
Yeah.
what we've said is, our goal for 2023 is we want to help 300 people, whether it's organizations, whether it's
Yeah.
our neighbor who slips and falls and breaks his leg
Yeah,
or whatever.
absolutely.
We want to help 300 people in some way, some fashion, and touch the lives of at least 300 people. So
Right.
I love, once again, there's that that just perfect fit for what we're doing. And again, they have joined, Help Up X has joined the Community Pay It Forward program, and every time that you join them, they're going to give us $20, where $16 is going to go to the cause of your choice. So, and this is really cool, because I want you to think about this, okay? $20 and your investment is $50, yet they're giving us $20 back.
Yeah.
That we're going to use. So you want to talk about another company that really, what, money's important. Wesley and I both know that. Money's important. We can't do anything without it. But again, something beautiful going on here, to where they're finding it more important to take care of the community, because we know that we'll be taken care of in the end. And again, it doesn't make any sense to do business where everyone's struggling. That's a point that I wish more companies would take and really realize that, what, if we don't take care of our own, we have no business. So, again, Wesley, you did a beautiful job, my friend. And you are going to come and join us on the 22nd as well.
Yep.
So,
yes, I will.
And so we will let you know when that's going to happen, because I really think that you ought to take and we'll try this presentation again at that time. And, we got a little less than a month to go. But if you know anybody in the nonprofit world, please copy down this Calendly address and hand it to them. Tell them, hey, check this guy out, because this guy can really help you, especially if you know somebody who's pulling out all their hair. Okay, because they just can't get ahead of themselves. I understand that feeling. I feel that feeling every day. So, but Wesley, again, thank you very much. Congratulations on what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Tell your partners from us, heartfelt, great job. You guys are doing some wonderful things, and I look forward to this partnership with you. We got the contract right here with you, and we're going to get it signed and sent to you today. But hey, everybody, this has been Zach with Wesley Ma, and we will be right back. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. I would like to invite you and your family to join us on February 22nd as we host our second 22-hour podcast, learning how to create the conversations and listen to our heroes battling the invisible war. We're also asking your company to join us as a sponsor, as a participant, and make your sales count. We will be raising money for organizations all over the country that help our veterans through this terrible, terrible problem. If you need help, just please visit communitypayitforward.us or give me a call at 970-909-0751. That's it for us tonight, folks. I want to thank you all very much. I wanted to, of course, thank Wesley and Monika. They did, first time that they've done anything with us, and they've done a great job. Please remember that, all of your purchases can mean so much more than just purchases. When you shop with any of our Community Pay It Forward Community Pay It Forward partners, God, I got to get rid of that other F word. They'll do a lot of good in the community, and you get to choose where they go. Please remember to love somebody out there, because somebody out here loves you. Remember that, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone, because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. Join us on Friday when, I don't know what we're doing yet, but join us on Friday and find out. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Stepping out of her fear, bring me home. Out alone, show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.